When someone steals everything from you, it's everything. Doesn't matter what the dollar amount is.
Douglas Butler describes his father in precise terms: conservative, frugal, someone who always managed his own money. These are not the characteristics of vulnerability. They are the characteristics of competence, decades of financial discipline that allowed an 80-year-old man to accumulate more than $2 million in savings. That sum represents a lifetime of decisions. Income earned, expenses controlled, investments chosen, impulses resisted. It does not accumulate by accident. This context is essential to understanding what followed. The man who lost everything was not careless with money, he was careful. He had demonstrated that care across decades. The scammer did not exploit recklessness. She exploited something else entirely. The requests came wrapped in crisis: breast cancer surgery, a vehicle purchase, home repairs, debt repayment. Each need was discrete, emotionally resonant, and time-sensitive. Cancer does not wait. Transportation enables independence. Homes require maintenance. Debts constrain freedom. The final request, money to leave her job so she could be with him, positioned the extraction as investment in a shared future. She was not taking from him. She was preparing to join him. The framing shifted the burden from suspicion to support. Each crisis invited him to demonstrate care, commitment, reliability. The money was not demanded. It was needed. The distinction created space for him to feel generous rather than exploited. He was helping someone he believed he loved overcome obstacles that stood between them. $100,000 at a time. The increments are staggering, but they reveal the depth of constructed trust. Small requests test willingness. Large requests follow only after that willingness has been confirmed repeatedly. By the time six-figure transfers became routine, the relationship had passed through months of smaller validations. Each interaction built on the previous one. The pattern was invisible to everyone except the person executing it. The Sun says the idea never occurred to anyone. This is not oversight. It is the architecture of isolation that romance scams require. The victim does not announce he is sending money. The relationship exists in private, in phone calls, in messages, in a digital space the family cannot see. The extraction happens in silence, shielded by the same privacy that protects legitimate intimacy.
If she could think of a lie to tell my dad about why she needed money, she told it.
Douglas Butler is angry his 80-year-old father lost his life savings, more than $2 million, to a woman he met online.
She told him she needed the money for breast cancer surgery, to purchase a vehicle, to fix up her home, and also to pay off debts, to leave her job, and to be with him.
Dad's always managed his own money, been very conservative, frugal, and the idea that he was handing away money, $100,000 at a time, just never occurred to anyone.
The postal inspectors traced the money. It did not disappear into offshore accounts or cryptocurrency wallets. It went to a new house, farm equipment, additional land. The scammer was not operating from a distant country with no extradition treaty. She was building a life, in plain sight, with funds transferred in increments of $100,000 from an 80-year-old man who believed she would soon be with him. The domesticity of the spending is difficult to reconcile with the scale of the theft. A family farm, equipment, land, these are investments in permanence, in generational wealth, in a future built on soil that belonged to someone else's lifetime of savings. The money was not laundered, it was planted. And then the detail that transforms everything. The victim suffers from Alzheimer's disease. He was, in the words of the inspector, so far gone that he didn't realize he was a victim. This phrase requires examination. Alzheimer's disease does not arrive suddenly. It progresses. Memory erodes. Judgment fragments. The capacity to evaluate new information against established patterns of experience deteriorates over time. The disease creates precisely the psychological environment that exploitation requires: constrained information, impaired pattern recognition, and the preservation of emotional responsiveness even as cognitive function declines. The scammer may have known. The relationship unfolded over time enough to notice confusion, repetition, gaps in memory that a healthy mind would not produce. Whether the exploitation was opportunistic or targeted, the outcome was the same. A man whose brain was failing sent $2 million to someone who told him she had cancer, needed a car, wanted to fix her house, and longed to be with him. He did not realize he was a victim. This is not denial. It is the disease. The theft exists in records, in bank statements, in the house and land that inspectors are now liquidating. But in the victim's mind, whatever remains of it, the relationship may still be real. The woman may still be coming. The future they discussed may still be waiting. The family discovered the loss only after it was complete. $2 million, transferred in amounts that should have triggered institutional review, passed through systems designed to detect exactly this pattern. The banks processed the transactions. The wire services accepted the fees. The infrastructure performed as designed, indifferent to the cognitive state of the man authorizing transfers.
Postal inspectors began tracking bank records and found the suspect was spending the money on a new house, new equipment for her family farm, and additional land.
This case was very compelling and rather heartbreaking because the victim suffers from Alzheimer's and was so far gone that he didn't realize that he was a victim in this case.
Inspectors say con artists often prey on the vulnerable and elderly.
Currently, we're working on getting funds back to the victim. The farm equipment and other assets are being liquidated, and we hope to recover funds to return to the victim's family so they can help pay for his medical care.
To me, when someone steals everything from you, it's everything. Doesn't matter what the dollar amount is.
The assets are being liquidated. The farm equipment will be sold. The land will be transferred. The house will find a new owner. The proceeds, whatever they amount to, will go toward medical care for a man who does not understand what happened to him. Douglas Butler articulates the loss with precision. When someone steals everything from you, it's everything. Doesn't matter what the dollar amount is. The statement resists the instinct to quantify. $2 million is a number. Everything is a condition. It describes not an amount but a state, the complete elimination of what existed before. His father managed his own money for decades. That autonomy is gone. The disease that made him vulnerable to exploitation also makes him dependent on the family now managing what remains. The money that should have funded his final years, his care, his comfort, his dignity, purchased a stranger's farm. The scammer exploited a man whose mind was failing. She told him she had cancer. She told him she needed a car. She told him she wanted to be with him. She told him whatever lie the moment required, and he believed her because believing her felt like love, and love was something he could still recognize even as everything else became uncertain. The family will recover what they can. The medical bills will continue. The man at the center of this story may never know what was taken from him, or who took it, or why. Perhaps that is mercy. Perhaps it is the final theft.
Elderly people looking to get back in the dating pool are growing victims of online dating scams. AARP says often online scammers make frequent spelling errors, use fake photos, profess love too soon, often claim to be working overseas, and ultimately end up asking you for money. One takeaway from this story, it's not only important to keep tabs on what your children are doing online, but your parents as well.